Just now. Okay, now you on.
Damn, that's crazy. That's you was enjoying it. I noticed that. I was not. You went.
Yeah, I did.
Well, I mean,
I can stop it. Do y'all want to introduce yourselves, or you want to wait?
All right.
Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Zoe Lee, and I am here. I'm not an activist. I just own a brand, a Humble Truth Lifestyle, and I am a concerned citizen for my mother who resides in Chicago, and I'm currently fighting the city of Chicago for unlawful eminent domain, or as I call it, illegal eminent domain. The city of Chicago got that on building in 2017, and currently fighting a federal case, and also just realizing that this is Black America's election, and it's time to get our economic resources before we just start voting because we're told to vote a certain way. And I got my bros with me, my brothers, my kings, they're dressed up. I cannot believe this. Shout out to my king, Aris in the back. That's my man right there. Thank you. He's been on deck since last year, but I really didn't know what I was doing last year. He just was like, he's been very patient with me, and he gets it. He understands. And and my thing is all hands on deck. So we're going to speak on this election. We're going to speak on.
I got people coming in and watching their comments.
Yeah, I got a lot of followers. They're going to come in and watch.
We're going to talk about, properties being stolen. We're going to talk about Trump. We're going to talk about the Republican Party. We're going to talk about Black America. Yes. So everybody like, okay, I already introduced myself. Okay, I'm new to this too. Like I've been doing a lot of interviews and stuff. But I have no idea what I'm doing.
Okay. You got it.
Okay. Short and simple. I'm Baron Strickland. I am a Chicago business owner. I am in the home sharing business, former firefighter, and just a law-abiding Chicago citizen. I say in my 30s is when I really started paying attention to the condition of my people nationally, but definitely here in Chicago. Just being born in the 80s, when it comes to this political thing, I really feel like our people, and when I say our people, I'm talking about Black people, we have it all wrong, but I think we should, and we are able to correct it. So that's my platform. That's how I feel.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Deshaun, aka the Chicago Conservative on YouTube. I'm talking political content. Also a law-abiding citizen. I'm a mailman, so I'm ain't nothing special, nothing like that. But I'm 27 years old, just trying to see a change when it comes to us African Americans in America. And a lot of people tell me I'm the future and that I need to, try to wake as many people up as much as possible. And me personally, I think I'm not saying I'm the best at this, but I feel like I'm making progress a lot when it comes to Black communities. We just did a Trump rally actually in Inglewood yesterday on the South Side. I don't know if anybody ever saw that, but a lot of people, are fairly woke now when it comes to the illegals. And actually, a lot of people say that, they're mad at Joe Biden, but when it comes to us, as far as African Americans, I'm glad that Joe Biden let these illegals in, giving them all the resources because we woke Black people up just like that. So, you gotta hate Joe Biden, but you gotta, you gotta see what he did and just take it, as the truth. Like, they would rather put illegal immigrants that's coming here, and they're not even coming in. Can I just say this? I'm sorry, excuse me. Majority of these illegals, 90% of them that are coming over the border is men. And they're coming from prisons and gangs. They're not women and children, guys. So I just want people to be aware of that. Like, and they're coming here getting all the resources, criminals. Like, if we want to give criminals resources, we might as well give our own prisoners criminals. You know what I'm saying? Resources and stuff like that. So I just think it's crazy. And this is all part of the Democratic agenda, which we'll get to later on. But yeah, that's just a little introduction to me.
Going back to like the undocumented immigrants, I guess I gotta politically correct, but the illegals too. But the undocumented immigrants, I'm from New York, so I'm not against immigration at all. So that I don't have an issue with that. I have an issue with that this invasion that happened with all of these resources that came to them when our properties are being stolen, our generation is being stolen. They're putting the undocumented immigrants in our communities that are already under-resourced and underfunded in our face with no study, with no nothing. We just have to have dignity for them. And I feel like that was a slap in the face. I tell my mother all the time, I said, I feel like, because they say that at one time the devil was an angel, right? And so I felt like the devil went and like knocked on God's door and was like, hey. And it was like, you need some help. I know you need some help because I feel like you are the chosen one. Like I feel like I'm chosen. I feel like the devil was like, look, I understand that you're trying to do everything the holy way, the godly way, but they are treating the chosen one or the blacks who built this country like trash. And what they're doing now, I said you have to figure out how can you make the majority realize that the government has been playing us for so long. And I think the best thing, the easiest way for us to all understand was this illegal invasion. And on top of that, we're going to put the money on top. And then we're going to go and put them in black communities. But what happened was Chicago pushed back. Like, I don't think they thought. They never thought that Chicago was going to raise hell the way that they raised hell, starting in South Shore, when they were trying to put them in the South Shore High School. That's when Natasha Dunn and them started like, hell no. That's how it first started. And I knew the migrant crisis was happening, but I was fighting my separate fight because the city of Chicago has yet to pay my family for knocking down this building, and I was trying to understand what is the problem. My mother got all this evidence, this I'm not making sure, but I'm not realizing that I'm fighting the machine. But while I'm outside protesting, Black Chicago, South Side and West Side, is at these committee meetings going off because you got Umsen Park. Was that Umsen Park when they were trying to put on the West Side, right? So for the first time, everybody say like South Side and West Side both got up like, oh hell no. And that is what the city, that's what America, that's what the world started saying, like, whoa, because New York wasn't pushing back, Denver wasn't pushing back, but Chicago was pushing back. And I think that was a sign from God to let us know that we have been playing for so long, and we continue to allow this, and that, that's what it was for me.
Wait a minute, before we go into the next speaker, you can probably chop this up later, but I do think we should take a chance, a moment to say what we're doing. We introduced ourselves, but we can talk about why we're here, what we're doing, about the Black agenda, and about just basically coming together for something for us.
Okay, this is like a town hall. Okay, I'm gonna be like 100. I've always been a behind the scenes person. I never ever thought I'd be doing any type of stuff like this and not doing anything like that. So I'm not like the greatest speaker, but so these are I'm trying to figure out, you know what I'm saying? You gotta organize what I'm trying to organize. So, huh? Yeah, or that's, yeah, but I, B is here to help me with all this. So all this just happened within a year. I've been fighting the city of Chicago and all that stuff, but this is a hall. This is a town hall in Jerk Valley, black on West Side.
Out
We got,
West Illinois.
huh?
Out West Illinois.
Out West Illinois. We have all of the cocktails.
From 928.
928. And I have my brothers here, and I do feel like this is very important too, because I feel like while fighting this fight, I have realized that our men are being silenced. And okay, I'm gonna treat it like it and fighting this fight, because this is a Black American fight. This is a Black fight. And I realized fighting this fight, I'm trying to talk to my brothers and trying to explain like from all over, and they like, so I hear what you're saying it up, but I just feel like, well, I know y'all can't say nothing. Like anytime y'all say nothing, here come a rape charge from 30 years ago. So I'm like, what are we supposed to do? So like, so I'm like just trying to silence our men. Like none of this makes any sense to me. So like, so we're fighting the city and seeing that this is a Democratic city and seeing that they effing us over and the election is coming up. I'm like, why do we continue to keep voting for these people and we're not getting anything? So I put this together because it is DNC week. It's the first day for DNC. I did a march earlier today, 55th King, going to McCormick, where we stopped at 24th, that's where they stopped you. In memory and in honor of Dick Gregory, because he did that in 1968. For 1968 DNC, and this is his 7-year anniversary. He passed away. And that's how I started. Now this is our panel. The DNC is here, and
we're trying to figure out what we're doing.
And we're trying to figure out what we're doing. And at the end of the day, Black people, we run America. I don't care what nobody say. We are the Bank of America. We are the culture of America. We are America, and nothing runs until it's our dollar. Our dollar is sponsoring everything, and we're not getting nothing.
So I'm gonna moderate y'all from the side to keep us on track. We're gonna have a time for questions. So I'm gonna give you guys a topic, and then I'm gonna give you 3 minutes to discuss it, and then we're gonna move on to the next topic. Now, when you get your chance, you can either have a rebuttal, or you can make your own statement. So we started with the influx of the Venezuelans, but we didn't get around it. So if you want to start, can you just tell us kind of what your point of view is with the influx of the migrants coming to Chicago, as pertains to what we're doing as a people, trying to rally our vote together and make sure that we're supporting somebody who supports us.
That's pretty loaded. I think when it comes to the influx of migrants, to me, just being a citizen here in Chicago, born and raised, it's like something I've never seen before. It's almost like you take a chaotic situation and you throw another chaotic situation on top of it. And let me explain what I mean by that. I was born in 81. And the 80s and the early 90s, you all know that was like the big crack epidemic in Chicago. Chicago has not even fully recovered from that problem. You understand? I mean, I went to school at Alabama A&M, and I tried to explain to a lot of my friends that are from Alabama and from a lot of the lower states that where you're from, you've never experienced anything like that. Like that was our Hurricane Katrina in Chicago. Yes. And if I had a friend to the left and a friend to the right, either one of their parents was strung out or both of their parents were strung out. My neighborhood literally burned to the ground in a matter of about 5 years or less. So you take a situation like that, and this is what we're talking about when it comes to like everything is ending and things like that. And now you throw, instead of correcting the homelessness that came out of that, people who are displaced for black people, Chicagoans, that came out of that and that still suffer from that, you throw the migrant crisis right on top of that. You know, so there's so many things that's going on with that. Something that I'm dealing with now just in home sharing. They've made laws and created laws locally that zone your own property. So if I own a 3-flat, I can only have one Airbnb in that 3-flat. The rest of the units either I have to live in or it has to be a long-term, basically. So I can't do what I want to do with my own property, but I can open it up to a migrant. The city will pay me to have a migrant there. You see what I'm saying? And I'm sure it's some type of, I haven't seen it publicized where I could take a black Chicagoan that's homeless and house them in one of my units and get paid by the city. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist.
There you go.
I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. What I'm saying is that I know from what I see that's advertised, and I know from what I see that would be a faster process. I could probably get a migrant family in there like with a snap of a finger. You see what I'm saying? So it's just certain things that I also, as far as like historical, and I don't put this off on everybody that's not from, that migrated here. What I do know is like when you talk about Big Gregory and you talk about the civil rights movement, how black people we were the forefront of that. Okay. What I notice is that I think a lot of people pulled our coattail and kind of went for the ride.
Yeah.
The Hispanic communities went for the ride as far as marching for freedom and different things with Dr. King. And when they got those freedoms, they pretty much walked away and abandoned life. Right here in Chicago, when you think about Mayor Harold Washington, who is my frat brother, he's a city. A lot of these Hispanic politicians wouldn't even exist in Chicago today. The Chewies, you wouldn't even know them.
Yeah.
Harold Washington was the ones that went into these Hispanic neighborhoods and told them, listen, why do you have a white guy as your alderman? You all need to step into these spaces, into these offices and run. You see what I'm saying? So, as a 42-year-old black man, I'm seeing where I'm made or shamed or forced to be sympathetic towards other races' struggle and other people's struggle. And people are not sympathetic towards ours. We're looked at as beggars. We're looked at as moochers or whatever. How do we mooch out something that's ours? So.
Thank you.
Yeah. Big bass. Big bass on the truck, whatever the tank was went by. For me, like I said, I was born and raised in New York, so immigration, it didn't bother me. My crush was a Dominican. My thing is like, damn, y'all got $2.2 billion for these new people? But y'all ain't got no money, for our communities. Not nothing. And when you start asking about it, all excuses. Well, it wasn't no excuse. Like bread is $8. Inflation is crazy. Y'all want us to have a baby. Y'all want us to have babies. How do you want us to have babies when we can't afford them? Rent is $5,000. Child care, but y'all paying, but if I've talked to Uber drivers, right? Mexican Uber drivers last year. And I remember one guy, this was the day holiday, Independence Day. And I remember he asked me, how you doing? I said, I don't know. I said, I don't know if I'm supposed to be mad at you. I don't know who I'm supposed to be mad at. I said, but I do know that y'all out here flying these flags around with this free fucking money, and our communities look like trash. So I don't know. I'm mad at you. I think I don't know. So I remember him saying, "You bad." He said, "Let's talk about my brother who's been here for 10 years and can't get his fucking citizenship." Okay? He said, "I told him he might as well just go back over there and jump over the border with him." So when I started hearing that, it's just like, man, he said, "Yeah," he said, "I have a property." And he said, "I can't even get no money because it's the only thing what you were just saying." You know? So, and he was Mexican. So, it was also like, it's a slap in the face to them because their family immigrated over here, right? Did everything, working hard, all this stuff. And then they didn't even get this.
Yeah.
So,
I don't buy into it because I don't ever feel like you can be a voluntary victim. So to say you're oppressed here when you escaped and broke in here, that's like breaking in jail and then complaining about being a prisoner. Like you don't get to be upset with your living conditions here when you ain't even supposed to be over there.
But I will also say this. While fighting this fight, a lot of these migrants ain't getting this money either. These Latino politicians and a lot of a lot of Latino politicians for sure, but these politicians are stealing this money. So that's another 40,000 Ukrainians came over here. 40,000. And they were put up. They were never no shelter. Nothing. Ukrainian village, they made little visas and started working, all of that stuff. But look how much money we give Ukraine. But also we are at war with Ukraine. But they made sure they put them up, housed them, all that, right? We didn't even see that. But when the Venezuelans, these are the majority of Venezuelans out here on the street now.
Yeah.
Right? And they put them in our neighborhoods because Mexicans and Venezuelans don't get along. Okay? But they didn't put them in Pilsen, but their aldermen are down Little Villas. The aldermen are down there demanding we need to take care of them. We need to have dignity. Then why you don't put them in your ward? Why you put them on the south side? Why you put them on the west side? These young people. We don't speak this language. So then that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm saying. Huh?
Because they need new niggas.
They need new niggas.
Okay?
And so this is it. So this is what I'm saying. So they're not getting a lot of money either. It's just like how back in the day when they say we was taking welfare. You know what I'm saying? Like a girl, her just sign up, So when this money came, right? When this money started coming, right? If you notice, a lot of these like McDonald's, Popeyes, stuff downtown, all the black workers were gone and replaced with all these Mexicans. Not Venezuelans. Okay, Mexicans. And that's when I started realizing like something ain't right.
That was a minute, but the question was about immigration when it comes to Venezuela. So it's just terrible when it comes to Chicago. First thing we got to realize is that Brandon Johnson claimed this city as a sanctuary city for these illegals when he did not vote on this at all. So I just want to throw that out there for the people that aren't aware of this. And then we got to realize what these people are bringing at the end of the day. They're bringing measles, they're bringing crime, and they're here trying to hurt our women and the vulnerable people like the old people. And as of now, I think we're at 1.7 million illegal immigrants in Chicago alone. Yep. And since 2022, it's been 46,000 undocumented immigrants. So that's into Chicago. So that's really a problem that we really need to start fixing, and we got to start really focusing on the people who we're putting in office. You know what I'm saying? So, And then when it comes to things that they're giving to these illegals, when it comes to food stamps, I've seen a video that illegal was getting over $15,000 in food stamps plus another $5,000 in cash balance.
And that was real.
Yeah.
And
And it was
definitely
real.
real.
And our seniors can't get nothing but $18 because they make too much.
Right.
And Social Security, and they gotta pay their little Part B and Part A or whatever, and they taking that 168.
And it's not even just money, like they're taking away things that I will argue that African Americans like desperately need, like education, because you gotta think about it, the schools that they closed down in all the black communities, they opened them back up for these illegals to shelter them. And they wouldn't open these schools up for us, for our own children. And I feel like that's a real problem when it comes to the African American community. But if we value education more, if we show that we really care about our children's education and our education alone, then people would get that. People would get that vibe that okay, they really want like a better future for themselves. And when it comes to the illegals as well, we got to understand who's really letting this happen. Kamala Harris, she's been the border czar for over 3.5 years, and she's done nothing to secure our border at all. And now that it's an election year, people, I would just say the Democrats, the left in general, they want to sit up here and act like, immigration's a problem, and we're going to fix this, that, and the third. But this is a problem that you guys caused. You know what I'm saying? When Trump, I would argue, has been talking about illegal immigration since 2012. If I'm gonna be honest, I was in high school. You know what I'm saying, when he was talking about that. And in 2012, I was in high school. So that's how long Trump's been talking about that. I'm 27 now. I'm gonna be 30. You feel what I'm saying? So we got to think about things like that. And it's like at the end of the day, with Joe Biden, he's a flat out racist, guys. And when it comes to African Americans, they are just looking for our vote blindly. Like they want to use props like Megan Thee Stallion and Quavo just to make it seem like we, are just going to vote for them based off identity politics. Me personally, I don't think really Americans in general should do it all, because policy is the number one thing that keeps that keeps our country safe. The last thing I want to say is that a country without a border is not a country. So if we keep letting these illegals in, eventually we're going to be at war within the country with the illegals. Financially, but physically.
What's your YouTube so we can share?
The Chicago Conservative. Yeah, I think it's on the stream yard, right?
Chicago Conservative?
Yeah.
I worked at 26 Chicago in the courtroom, and I literally had a judge that said it was the Venezuelan court, they got it tearing off the Macy's and the Nordstroms and everything. She literally said, and she's actually the chief judge, said, oh, well, you know what, we have to give them time because they don't understand the laws here. Because there's no over there chopping off their hand if you steal it. So you already know what's going on with the costume stuff you still in here.
It don't matter what country you're from, because you can't speak.
That's what I'm saying. So why would you give them a free pass to keep on stealing, sending them right back out there? But yet if it was me, I'm looking at least 30 days.
So it's been cases in New York where illegals have actually attacked officers.
Yes.
They openly stolen them.
Yes.
Of course in Chicago they have done just all kind of horrendous things and they let them go, right? And a lot of people ask, why would they do something so horrendous? Why would they do something like that? And basically the answer is simple. They want to vote. Because when we take into consideration that 27 out of 50 states in America don't require a photo ID to vote, that should raise some eyebrows. So if they're just letting the illegals in, I believe that they're like around 5 million illegals that's in America right now.
Illegal right there.
Yeah, probably. And this isn't good for America, because America alone is already struggling with things like housing and education and resources of that sort. So, me personally, I just think that we really need to start waking up when it comes to policy, when it comes to real policies, guys. Because we really should have learned from Obama. We put him in office for 8 years, and he's done nothing for black people. He's done more for the LGBT than black people, and we got to take into consideration everybody. Right, everybody that's not black isn't LGBT, and they really tried to like tie these two organizations together. Like the black people support LGBT no matter what, and that's actually a false claim because if we do a blind, it was basically like a blind, it was like a blind test, right? And when it came to values, and when it came to basically like traditional values and things like that, black people actually fail more on the conservative side more than the liberal side. You know, so people just gotta start realizing like we are our own people. And then even with the word black, like I'm black, yeah, like don't get me wrong, we're all black up here, majority of us. But if we just start seeing each other like as people and just stop putting a title on everything, that would get rid of a lot of division in our country.
I gotta say this. All right, because I'm definitely black, American first, and but I hear what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but I also want to say before we get in the migrant topic, also, yeah. If we're getting this together, hello? Okay.
I didn't hear that. It's too hot. Too loud.
Oh, hello? I can't hear nothing now. All right.
The only
Okay.
thing you're holding it closer than they were, that's why.
Okay, all right. Hear me now? Okay. In 2021, Rosanna Rodriguez Sanchez and Carlos Rosa Ramirez cornered Lori Lightfoot and told her that they had, I don't know what they had on her or whatever, but they kept demanding, asking for her to resign. And the reason why they were asking for her to resign because they wanted her to sign this executive order, which she did. The executive order is for the Chicago Police Department to not work with ICE to get these people out of here. So that's why no matter what they do, they can't do anything. So you can arrest them 1,000 times. They're gonna come out because they cannot work with ICE. So, and that's like very important when people don't understand, like, oh, man, they keep getting locked up. Well, it's an executive order. And so, oh no, not really. I had to, how much they spent. Yeah. Oh, not really, but yeah, next time. Yeah, it wasn't it.
That's why I'm just saying, like how you said that.
So she's a probation officer.
Oh,
okay.
So
I asked her, did she want to give anything?
Oh, yeah.
No, so like I'm just saying, I'm a probation officer and has been for 5 years in Cook County. And now that they have this new pretrial fairness act, they're just letting, not just, right, the pretrial fairness act to where if there's no more cash bonds. So if your charge is not a violent charge, like a robbery or anything like that, you're guaranteed to go home. So of course, all of these theft cases that like the immigrants have, they're counting them one on top of one on top of one on top of one, and they're still letting them back out. So all they're gonna do is once you catch another one, okay, we're gonna take don't go back over. I had a guy in court. They told him on 5 different occasions not to go to the Home Depot. Of course, he's an immigrant. What's he over there doing? Stealing at the Home Depot again. Because that's all they just gonna keep on doing it and keep on doing it. But like you said, now that they said to it, they can't kick them out. It's like they just let them right back out here on the streets. For us to have to keep dealing with the property taxes, the taxes of it, that's actually just paying for this. And so I see it every day on a daily basis.
And one more thing before we look at this, but I want to talk about the Home Depot. Home Depot part. And speaking of Home Depot, right? So like I said, the police can't work with ICE to get them out of here. But currently, a group of migrants is suing Home Depot and Chicago Police Department for discrimination because they are not getting, because they're telling them they can't stand out front of Home Depot. So
To ask for work.
so they're saying that they are getting harassed. So just listen to what I said. Now CPP can't work with ICE to get them out of here, but they're getting sued So again, a lot of this is like common sense, and I think that we have to start using our common sense and just understanding that this is our tax dollars. That's just we're getting played. Black people getting played. Like real talk, and we gotta unite and figure out what we're gonna do for this election.
I've been on Section 8 playing this for over 20 years.
You right,
They come right over here.
Question.
Okay, so you guys tell me, if we can talk a little bit about Black history as it pertains to local and national politics. So I hear what you're saying, right? And we know that the migrants is bad and they get to get away with everything. A lot of people might wonder, why should I care? Why should I be upset? Not me, so don't shoot my head.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, some people might wonder, like, well, what do you mean? Maybe I don't think everybody is privy
not
to the
feeling it.
history of the work that was done so that they could have a right to sue. So without social security numbers and things, but anyway, just can you speak to that?
They over here with $2.2 billion in space. Free.
Yeah, my folks are tax, my check is tax.
Basically,
Why should they care? What is the history of what's the Black history in Chicago? Why should the Black people be outraged about the Venezuelan outbreak that y'all just spoke about?
I mean, that's simple, and just like Zoe talked about common sense.
Well, hold on, before you go further, let me give you a little context to the question. My daughter's 18 years old.
Okay.
This will be her first time voting for the presidential election.
Right.
She said to me verbatim, this is my first time I can vote and I don't have a clue what to do. So when you say common sense and people should know, there are a lot of young voters out there that don't know.
Well, I mean, see, I thought that you were talking about conditions that we see pertaining to.
Or just even some of the history in Chicago, some of the younger people really
Okay.
don't understand
No
like why
problem.
this is so bad.
I'm gonna tell you, and I listen. When I speak, I talk about. You hear me say our people, and whenever we have a problem in which we fall short, I say our problems are mistakes, me included. Okay. One of the things that I like to listen to, it's kind of crazy. Malcolm X, the Valley of the Bullet. When you listen to it, listen. It's one of them things that's like, for someone to make a speech so long ago and it be so relevant today. Okay? One thing that stands out about that speech is he talks about how politically immature the black citizens of America are. Okay? But I'll say this, compared to how we operate now when it comes to voting, as opposed to how we operated in the civil rights movement, it's completely different. And all you gotta do is you can YouTube things, you can do a little research that. Martin Luther King, we talked about the march that he had here. You remember that? Where they got jumped up there in Cicero, right?
Yeah.
I was watching the documentary in which they were saying that the people down here, down south, in Martin Luther King's camp was opposed to him coming here and doing that march. And the reason was because they felt like it took away from the political education classes that they were having down south. So let's talk about that. Political education classes. It wasn't like they were at a school or anything like that. It was different churches that had an agenda, that had a, what's going to call it, curriculum, a political curriculum of who they were voting for and why they were voting for them. So if you were a Democrat, you knew what a Democrat was and why you were a Democrat. Now, my parents did the best that they could. I love my moms and everything like that, but my first year of voting, like your daughter, my parents told me just vote Democrat. But that's what they were taught. But that's what they were
That's
taught.
what we were talking.
You see what I'm saying?
That's what we were talking
We
about.
were taught Republicans are racist.
Yep.
Vote Democrat. As a 42-year-old man, I can assure you that both parties are racist.
Yeah.
against black people.
Yeah.
Let's just put it out there.
Yeah.
And I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for saying that.
Now you hear people say, vote because they're black.
Yeah,
Vote because they're black. They still a black idiot. Vote because they're black.
so let me go back to what I was saying about how they opposed Martin coming up here and getting beat up because that's what happened. That's really what happened. And you can actually YouTube when she says this, and I've been all through Mississippi, I have never dealt with mobs as crazy as Chicago, as aggressive as Chicago. You know, we were talking about not having borders. Chicago is the most segregated city in the United States.
That's a real estate.
It literally has borders. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't understand that.
Why you, when they let the bridges up, when
Right.
the niggas get acting crazy?
Not only Chicago, but Illinois.
Illinois, correct.
What it is that back in those days, slaves had lack of education.
Okay.
That's how they got it. So the thing of it is now, Martin came to wake us up. And they got mad at Martin for waking, then he said, what? You gonna wake these niggas up? That's what they said back then. Okay? But now we gotta educate. Okay? So here's the thing. We have to come together. There's power in unity. There's enough for everybody. I'm not being racist at all. But there's enough for everybody. But the thing of it is don't sell us out. And that's what our own people, our own race has sold us out. But now we gotta take it back. You understand what I'm saying? Because this is a racist country. We're not going to dispute that. It's a racist country. So it ain't about it ain't about this, that, and other. We gotta take it back. And we gotta make a stand at it.
Right.
Hell or high water, we gotta make a stand at it.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Power. That's the main thing that they like. It's the power. If we take back the power, then we can accomplish a lot.
Right.
So I'm gonna wrap it up. I really wanted to expound on what I was talking about with political education. Again, like I said, a lot of Martin Luther King's camp was upset that he actually came here because they felt like, listen, you're going there and you're taking away from the political education that our citizens down here need. When you think about the Black Panther Party, the chapter here in Chicago, there's videos you watch of Fred Hampton saying, you can't even join this organization without going through our political program to learn why you're doing it. Why are you voting, who you're voting for, and why you're voting for. You see what I'm saying? So let me finish off with saying, when I talk about, I think the Black community, including myself, has dropped the ball by not having political classes. Now, we did get the ring about civics being taken out of the school system. That was by design. That was not by accident. You know what I mean? We have to get back to a situation where we're not just telling our people to just vote Democrat or vote Republican. We have to get back to having classes, community classes, where we're actually teaching civics and politics. If we don't start doing that, then we'll always be going after identity politics or just voting for somebody because they're Black or we think they're Black or they pledged the D9 organization or something like that.
That's a whole nother.
You know, I'll end with, I think that for a while, I even played into the whole identity thing. You know what I mean? But then I started listening to, and God rest his soul, Dr. John Henry Clark, who actually dedicated his life to teaching Black people where we stand with other people in the world. When you start to research that, it's heartbreaking. But I think that, you begin to understand a lot of the reason that we're in the predicament that we are in now as Black people here in Chicago. And
For me, I grew up majority in the suburbs, in my hometown, and majority white. I wasn't in school with Black kids until my 1 year. My mother tried to come back when I was 10 years old in '96. My mother went to St. Elizabeth Grammar School, high school in the South Side, so I went 1 year there. But growing up, I used to be like, Black History Month, I used to be like, damn, I'm tired of just doing Rosa Parks and Dr. King. Like, is there anybody else?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's just like that was my thing. I remember telling my mother, like, give me somebody else. Like, I'm not going in this year doing Rosa Parks. Okay? And so I started getting into Dorothy Heights. And so, I started looking at my own stuff. And then that's when I realized, I'm like, okay, this something I have to start doing my own research. And then when I started doing my own research, I just realizing like, okay, I didn't grow. I know like a lot of my friends' parents when I got older, when I started hanging out more with my Black friends, that every other whoever said every other person's parent was on crack. And I never dealt with that. My mom was on drugs. My father was never on crack. So I didn't understand. Like, damn. I'm like, so when I got older, I realized this crack epidemic was like something serious. And when I started talking to a lot of my friends when it comes to Black history, then they were saying the same thing. So I had to really. I've always been super pro-Black regardless, and I see a lot of people look up history and stuff and start telling certain things, and I'm like, yeah, I get it, but what the main things that I realized is that Black people overcame slavery, we overcame the 1990 race riots, we overcame the boycott movement, civil rights movement, and then we overcame the crack epidemic, mass incarceration, and now this illegal immigrant invasion. And we have yet to get, for me, it's common sense, it's economics. Like, I can talk about our history all the time, but economically we're messed up because we have yet to get any of our money from all the stuff that we prevailed. It's like we prevailed, we are heroes out here. You know what I'm saying? And we make the history books, we get statues, we get all the stuff, but we have yet to get our economic resources. So that's what I'm on. I can sit here and talk about history all day. And historically, we have been getting shitted on economically. We don't have none of our money from all the things that we had prevailed. And then when I do look at some history that does make sense, we were Republicans first. I also agree with the Reconstruction era, because my thing is I'm with segregation. I feel like as long as you just give me my money, I'll figure out it by myself. And the way that the Democratic Party has held us, because we're taught that we have to vote this way, and it's part of our history. It's part of Black history to the point that is normalized, traumatized. To this year, I've lost friends and family because I'm like, that Puerto Rican ain't shit. How could you? How could you dare say that? Yeah, you must be a Trumpster. Oh, you a coon. No, the real coons on the Democratic Party. Y'all are the coons.
But you know what? Well, we have to understand another part of cooning to me is not even supporting black businesses, not keeping the black dollar in the black neighborhood. You know, we can talk about reparations, we can talk about all of the things with the migrants and everything, but we also have to hold each other accountable about what we do with our money because we found a way to spend.
I'm glad you said that when it comes to us taking accountability, because a lot of people fail to realize that in America, a black person is 3 times more likely to get attacked by another black person that includes white people. And I'm gonna say another statistic that a lot of people probably don't want to believe, but when it comes to Americans getting shot, it's actually white people getting shot more than black people. But they're the majority, of course. Yeah, they're the majority, of course. But when it comes to black on black crime, it fails in comparison to white on white crime. White on white crime barely exists, and people are failing to realize that we don't even make up. We barely damn near making up 15% of the population in America.
When you say don't exist, you mean that it's not recognized.
No, I say it rarely exists. You rarely hear about it. You rarely hear about white on white crime.
Right. So it exists more.
Yeah, it exists, but it doesn't. It's not going to affect them as much as it's going to affect us because they're majority. That's why they don't really care about the white people as much as them. Yeah, and then a lot of people. I can put another statistics out there that white people are on more welfare systems and stuff like that than black people. But that's because they're the majority as well.
Yeah.
But when we take into consideration of the statistics that who's doing the majority of the violent crimes in America, black people are by far doing the majority of violent crimes. I'm not saying crime in general. We're just talking violent crimes.
Well, see, I always say that is not that is more or less like when you think of a bad. When you actually think of an entree, right? Somebody serves an entree and it's nasty, right? Who do you blame?
You blame the chef.
Okay, in that situation, what you're talking about, you're blaming the waiter.
But anybody with common sense, but see, that's the thing, you acting rationally out of, you know what I'm saying? If somebody stop and think, what the hell am I getting mad at the waitress for? They're just bringing me the food. See, that's what black people have to start realizing as well.
They cuss
Exactly.
Yeah, they cuss. I mean, yeah, we're gonna have the whole restaurant is gonna be held accountable. Let's just keep that.
So what I'm saying is if that same recipe was sent to any other community, it would be the same thing.
Right.
And we see that with the opioid crisis that's going on with the soccer moms today.
Right.
See, when I was growing up, it was just say no. It was dare, just say no, and all of this other stuff. Now, with the opioid crisis, it's being labeled a sickness, it's being labeled a mental illness. You see what I'm saying?
And it's
So that's the
they
thing, like when people say that, oh, we're the most violent and we commit, listen, the recipe has been dumped in our neighborhoods and not the other neighborhoods. It's just now with these legalized painkillers and drugs, opioids, now it's seeping over to the white people and the soccer moms and different things like that, and it's being recognized as something different. You see what I'm saying?
But we got to take it to
I
consideration.
want to say one thing before that. Now, you know how the 80s, that crack epidemic hit us all, right? History repeats itself, right? This fentanyl that came was supposed to do the same thing to us, but because we had DARE, because we watched what the crack epidemic, we was like, hell nah. Like one of my favorite movies is New Jack City. When I saw Pookie, I said, ain't no way in the world I would ever, you know?
We
So,
think that
these kids, huh?
we had there.
Yeah, these kids don't, and that is my problem. This is why this election is very important to me, because our kids are messed up. They don't know what's going on, and it's because of this is a lot.
Okay, so you actually said something that's a great point, because you brought up accountability when it came to black people, when it came to the fentanyl. We said we're not going to allow this to happen in our community, right? Now, that kind kind of contradicts what you said before when you said, oh, it puts they put it in our neighborhoods and it kind of affects us and now we're
Yeah,
violent.
but
But
we didn't
not
have
necessarily.
that.
But I'm saying you said soccer mom, right? That's still connected with the white majority. So you got to think about stuff like that. At the end of the day, it's gonna hurt us more than the white people, no matter how you think about it. So that's why we got to get rid of this black-white analogy. Because at the end of the day, we're all equal. Because if we think like that, they're gonna keep thinking like that. Like it's gonna be a never.
I did no. Hold on.
But to that though, it do affect black people worse. Because the soccer moms, they get to go to the methadone clinic and they get prescribed drugs or they get up to wean them off. But when we walking up and down the street, like it definitely.
Can I respond to that too? Because a lot of people fail to realize there are resources in the black community.
No,
Black
it's
people
not.
choose
No,
it's not.
Okay, I'm saying this as a person or as a product of, I lived in 4331 South Federal, the projects. The project, I know what the project was because I lived there. And there were programs like DARE, Athletes Against Drugs, Adam and Peer, all these different programs that was there, but it still didn't stop.
But that starts with the home, dude. If you teaching your kids not to
See,
do
that's-
I'm letting you finish what I was
that
gonna
starts with a
say.
nuclear family.
It,
That's what I'm talking
all those wonderful programs, Upward Bound, I went to UIC, I was in 7th grade taking college courses. All of those resources and all of those things, it still didn't stop when I left school and when I left outside and I seen people, the way they treated each other in the black community, it was barbaric. And it's still barbaric now.
It's worse.
Our people are the main contributors to self-destruction and organ harvesting. There's a reason that there are no trauma centers around, and there's a reason that they let these young black people die so easily, like from things that are so treatable. Bleed out, we got a brain, we got a heart, we got kidneys, we got a liver, we got everything we need. Get them out of here. Nobody cares about this person. They don't care. And I say this to say this. Our community has got to do better when it comes for giving a damn about human life. Period.
That kind of goes back to what I'm saying.
And it's a poverty mindset because I remember them trifling niggas being so dirty and trifling that CHA had to have people walking around with a stick to clean up behind them. And I say this because it's one of the first indicators of poverty is trash. Whenever I see littering and trash, I know niggas live there. And when I say niggas, I mean just people that's low on a scale of loving about themselves or caring about themselves. If you go in a certain neighborhood, you won't see one lick of trash. And I mean the entire neighborhood is black. The entire neighborhood, it's a mentality and a mindset thing. It's like, where do we get to these people? The bonded people that show up with their ass out at their kids' school in the stag and showing up smelling like weed at a kindergarten graduation. When do we check these people? When we check them?
But that starts in the home. That starts with the teachings. I'm sorry, I just want to respond to that. That starts with the teachings that we teach in the home when it comes to what we feed ourselves and our children, because I believe like what you absorb is always going to be a manifesto when it comes to music, media. They specifically put things in black media and black music that would want us to do harmful things to ourselves, like rap music. Like, think about it. It won't even be a hit if they're not talking about killing somebody. But
why y'all don't check WGCI and 101?
We don't do it though, but that's the thing.
And say stop playing this bullshit.
But listen though, because listen, we don't own the radio station because we will get fired if we do. That's what I'm saying. Now,
does own?
I'ma just
The
come out and
Jewish
say
people, so that's what I'm saying.
nobody want to hear that shit. That's why they don't play it. The ratings will go down. They don't want to hear
But
what rap.
don't nobody listen to it but a certain generation. We all listen to our own phone.
But we got to think about how detrimental is becoming to our community though, because we got to think about it. Is that music helping black people? Is these movies helping black people? Movies like You know what I'm saying? And then like when it comes to black people, like it's just we're doing things so blindly that it's like we're gonna be like basically like extinct in America when it, like especially if these illegals keep coming in and we keep doing what we're doing.
Yes,
Because
that's the
we
point. They
gotta
do
think about it.
business.
We're killing ourselves. We're killing ourselves on top of illegals replacing us. If Trump don't win, we're gonna be fully replaced with these illegals. And I'm gonna say, because you had a question about Chicago and your voting right now. We haven't had a Republican mayor since 1930. The Democrats have had a stronghold on Chicago for a very long time. And just think about it, just Democrats alone when it comes to black people predominantly vote Democrat 90%. And women, 95%, they vote Democrat. They don't even know why. You know what I'm saying? Because Democrat, yeah, because mama and daddy say, oh, like you said earlier, Republicans feel rich and Democrats feel poor, which is honestly not true nowadays because there are more rich Democrats nowadays than Republicans. So that actually is debunked now.
But they're gonna be the new police because your governor voted that they can now become. They don't have to be U.S. citizens to be the police.
Sure.
So they
J.B.
come in
Pritzker.
and they're gonna be Pritzker.
He's
So
a
now they're gonna
Democrat.
be our police.
I think when it comes to politics, we have to change. Like I always say, we're the new adults, and we have to change the culture of politics, and that's the problem because they are both terrible. You know what I'm saying? And they have yet the Democrat. I'll say for the Republican Party, I feel like we have not given them a chance as a whole, as for majority of black people to see, give a chance to give us what we want or what we demand. Now, with the Democratic Party, there's no way in the world that we have been voting for this long and we have not received anything. And we're losing everything. And it's 2024.
What does that say about us, though? That's the
And I agree with you. It is us.
It's honestly insane.
Yeah, but also, but listen though. But why? But this is 20. Right.
So that's what changed my mind. I'm not gonna lie. The first time I made $100,000 and realized that wasn't no damn money. That's what made me start asking questions.
We got
I ain't gonna lie to you.
But we have to stop. We have to stop. Okay, so for 60 years, we have been giving our vote to the Democratic Party and haven't gotten anything. Right? Well, 60 years, the Civil Rights Act is what solidified giving us, Democrats strong. Now, we're the new adults. Do you think for 60 years I'm going to give the Republican my vote after we just watched what the Democratic Party did when I know at this point if black people just rise up and separate from the mainstream government and do our own thing because we are the Bank of America. They need us. We don't need them. What will happen? No, we're not gonna nobody's freedom is on the line. You know whose freedom is on the line? These corporations, these crooked ass politicians, these influencers who have been effing us over and telling us that our freedoms and democracy is on the line if we don't vote a certain way. We don't have to deal with that. Now, I understand, first of all, the two-party policy is crazy. We really need to be independent. Black Americans need to go ahead and do their own thing. And we really have enough time. Everybody says we don't have enough time. We really do have enough time. But, however, with the Republican Party, we got an agenda. And the agenda is that we need our own department. And the Republican Party, I'm not even gonna hold you. I think because they are about business and they don't be stealing as much as the Democratic Party do now. They be having sex with children and shit, and you gotta stop that. But when it comes to businesses, they realize business. And I do feel like talking to Trump. Or even one Trump, another Republican, if you come with the proposal and let them know, look, this is what we need. If you want Black America to come over to the Republican side, this is what we're going to need. And I can't see them saying no. And I'm telling you why they don't say no. They want power. This is about power. And they are willing to give it to us. The Democratic Party has been infiltrated by the LGBTQ, okay, by the illegal immigrants, Our men can't say nothing, okay. We have no protection no more, okay. And we're supposed to just deal with that. You know what I'm saying? It's black and brown. There's no black and brown, but it's black and brown over there. So why do I want to continue to deal with a circus? The Democratic Party has become a circus. So in order for I feel like black people to continue to vote, well, black people in Chicago to continue to vote that way, y'all have to give us something. And this is the time to give us. It's the 60-year anniversary of 1964 Civil Rights Act this year. So you're going to have to give us something. As far as the Republican Party, I feel like we can work with y'all, but y'all still got to implement some stuff as well. But we have never given the Republican Party a chance. And that's the thing. I'm uncommitted, okay? Because for real, the Republican Party, they didn't give a fuck about the LGBTQ, okay? And I'm part of the LGBTQ. But I also understand policy, and I also understand these motherfucking undocumented immigrants got to get the fuck up out of here because we are at a race of emergency. So I can care less about the Republican Party either, but I do understand policy and I do understand where we're at. But the Republican Party don't fuck with LGBTQ. So that's what the Democratic Party has their holes because they feel like, well, hey, the Republican Party doesn't care about LGBTQ, even though Grindr, when they were at the Republican National Convention, went off. I mean, they broke it. So clearly, it's some undercover DLs in the Republican Party, but they're not welcoming for the LGBTQ. So you gotta say that. And LGBTQ is a big block. Now we're a big block too. Now it's some weirdos. It's some fucking weirdos. And I don't got nothing to do with them. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm black first before any of that. But you gotta realize, y'all, what y'all coming with? Now, I love black people. Ain't nobody gonna mess with me, okay? My brothers, my sisters, everybody gonna take care of me. But the Republican Party does not give a fuck about the LGBTQ, and that's why the fairies and stuff be over there with the Democrats. So what do you say about that?
Sorry. Well, me personally, I don't think that's true. I think that when it comes to religious values, they don't really necessarily agree with it when it comes to same gender actions. I'm not going to say nothing explicit, but other than that, and then I would even say that people who are part of the LGBT, majority of them are not Democrat because nowadays they're just it's just they're for fascism. The majority of the LGBT community people are like communists, and you got to think of the people who are funding these organizations like LGBT, Black Lives Matter, and people like George Soros. Like these people are like publicly insane. Like I ain't even gotta say nothing too much about that. So it's like at the end of the day, like they say, they're going. It's just like for black people. Me personally, I think there's a difference between black people and niggas.
I always say that.
I'm gonna just get that out there.
I love black
Me personally, it's like if we're gonna keep saying that demographic, you should feel the same way when it comes to LGBT. It's a difference
Absolutely
between
right.
so
That's
everybody thinks this way. So it's not just Republican Party, we hate gay people. No, that's honestly not true. Because anybody that's a part of the working class, anybody that's America first, you don't really care what you are. You don't care what you do. And honestly, can I say this one last thing? The Democrats actually care more and actually are trying to censor you and stop you from doing what you want to do than Republicans are. Republicans are private. Like they want you to leave. Like Republicans are more like private. Democrats are more of they just want to mess with people more. You know what I'm saying? They gotta put themselves into things that nobody really asks to be in and things like that. Like I just feel like the left kind of isn't for privacy and the right is. So you can be LGBT and be private about that. But you're more likely to be exposed by a Democrat than a Republican for being gay. If you don't want that information being out there, if you're not comfortable with
Because
that.
I swear to God,
And I'm be honest with you, the main people, if you're black and you're gay, the main person that's gonna clown you is black. I'm gonna just be honest with you.
At that church they use.
They're
I'm
gonna
gonna say
clown
we
you.
in the church.
So Republicans, people wanna say, like people can say, oh, Republicans don't like, and that's what I'm saying. We gotta start looking within our own community first before we start coming at these white people and all this. You know what I'm saying? But right, but that's what I'm saying. We gotta look at ourselves first if we want to change, because you don't see gay Jewish people attacking. I mean, you know, straight people attacking gay. You know, talking about gays, exactly what they're out there for. You know what I'm saying? But they don't get shamed for it. Jewish people don't shame other Jewish people for being gay.
Because they run them and they don't want to do. They run all parties. I mean, they run the Jews. I mean, not all parties.
So let me ask you this.
And they run
If you're in an all-white school, right?
They run
a Democratic party for sure.
This is about LGBT, right? You're in an all-white school, and you got two options. You're in an all-white school and an all-black school. You go up to your class, right, and say, I identify as an LGBT plus community. Who's more likely to talk about you? That white class or that black class?
First of all, I've been there for a very long time. I came out when I was 10, but I don't lead with that. My thing is, I don't lead with my sexual orientation. Why I said that question was, I'm gonna vote for who I want to vote for, and I'm not scared to say it. If the Democratic Party does not put our does not implement our black agenda before election, because they can do it. I don't want to sit here and say they can't. And the reason why I say that is because when it came to us boycotting that's how we got the Civil Rights Act, they didn't care about none of the Congress. We got it because Lyndon B. Johnson was like, okay. Yeah, we're losing money. Black people don't wait and start recycling their dollar over here. They don't care about we don't care about the government or anything like that. So when I'm saying that to say that if the Democratic Party, because they owe us, it's anniversary time, if y'all do not implement our black agenda, because you can do it, and I don't want to hear it's going to take Congress and all this shit. You know it's not. Then at the end of the day, I'm voting for Trump because these migrants have to get out. And I am LGBTQ, so I don't really care about what a person thinks about me, but there's other people that they feel some type of way. I'm not voting for Trump, I'm not voting for Republican because they have these extreme Christian views. I know my privilege. I don't give a fuck. You don't have to like me. You know what I'm saying? But I know that we are at a race of emergency, and I also know that these Democratic people have been making money off of our oppression for years, and it stops. So that's what I'm on, because at the end of the day, you have to take emotion. I can't get mad at every Republican because you don't like me. You call me a fat black, you call me Manny Fresh, I don't give a fuck, bitch. I need these motherfucking Republicans, I need these immigrants out out of our fucking communities because they're fucking us up. And that's what I'm talking. Yeah.
So I just want to say one thing about Lyndon B. Johnson. You said, this is going to be real quick. So you said Lyndon B. Johnson, right? Because she said something that's really interesting. Because I appreciate everything that you were saying, but you said that the Democrats is our 60-year anniversary, but Lyndon B. Johnson said we're going to have these N-words for the Democrat for 200 years.
Absolutely.
So is that our anniversary, or is our anniversary going to be 60 years or 140 plus years from now?
Oh, no.
But that's our choice to make.
No. Black people, the millennials are waking up. Okay, because we're going to do it else. So no, that's not going to happen. Because honestly, we are the DARE people. We DARE classes. A lot of us are college educated. Okay, a lot of it came from the projects and still was able to make it. You understand? The fentanyl thing did not affect us like it's affecting these white kids. None of that stuff, right? We just need our money because we're a lot of business owners. and none of it is making any sense. So no, we're not. Okay, we're not going to. Matter of fact, like I said, if the city of Chicago, if Kamala or whoever, Biden, whoever, I don't know who's running this, Obama, whoever is running this, okay, if the Department of Justice is not sent to the city of Chicago and the IRS criminal division and the feds to start investigating why our properties are being stolen, then that's number one, the state is going to flip red. If she does not implement, or Biden does not implement our black agenda, it's going to be flip red. And that's going to, like you said, if they haven't had a mayor since 1930, yeah, in 2024, it's going to be red in the motherfucker out here, okay? And that's just what it is.
I just wanted to kind of respond to what you were saying earlier about the separation between black people and niggas, right? I understand. Trust me, I understand. Have I ever felt that way? Yeah, but the thing about it is, what we're up against, we don't have the luxury to dice each other up in subgroups. You know what I mean? Even if we don't agree with what our brother or sister is out there doing, that doesn't make them not black like you and me.
But the other ethnicities do it as well. You got white people and rednecks.
Okay. But the other ethnicities get privileges and things that we don't get.
See, but that's
and we are the most hated. But hold on. Something that you cannot deny is that this skin that you and I have, being and I'm not just talking about the skin, I'm talking about knowing that when you recognize as a black man, I'm recognized as a black man, that we are the most hated people on this earth. There's no denying that. There's no denying that. So you have to give you have to have some type of understanding when it comes to that. You see what I'm saying?
So what makes a different black man that's ignorant different from a white man that's ignorant? What's different from that?
Because the ignorant white,
hold on. Let me ask you.
Because the ignorant white man is born with privileges that the ignorant black man does not have.
Well, what are those? But see, look.
Hold on, let me finish.
That's how the Republican Party be
the
losing us.
ignorant.
Because you be on that human shit. It ain't no.
Hold on, let me finish.
It'll never
Let me finish.
It will never be any human equality, right? With black and white until we get our reparations.
Who is determining this though?
That's why y'all losing. That's why y'all losing us. That's why.
Because you guys are letting these people determine these decisions. And you guys, yes, the people who
You don't
guys are
think we
voting
all
for, the people you guys are putting in office, you guys are letting these people determine you guys' actions, let alone you guys' own. That's what I'm saying. You guys are letting people make these decisions for you guys. So who is determining this? Like, who is determining a white man has more privilege than a black man in America?
You just admitted out your own mouth that the black man is the most hated, which means that we are going to face
from ourselves, though.
No.
We get more support from other ethnicities than black people.
Sir, this is
Statistics says.
No.
This is a problem.
Okay, let me repeat. Let me just.
We get more support from other ethnicities than black people.
I'm gonna touch on 2 points. First, let me touch on this 1 point. Okay, you admitted out your mouth that the black man is the most hated man on earth.
When it comes to us as black people, we
No. I'm talking about period. So you're saying that the black man is only hated the most by black people. That's what you're saying?
I mean, if that was the case,
I'm talking about when we go anywhere on this earth,
yeah,
we stand out as something negative to other people.
No,
and I'll travel the world.
That's not true.
Okay, sir, let me ask you a question.
Let me
ask you a question. How many countries have you been to?
I've been to only America, and that's
okay. So, sir, let me tell you something. With all due respect, and you're 30, right?
No, I'm 27.
You're 27. I'm 42. I've been.
And that's actually crazy how you thinking like this.
So listen to me. I've been all over the world. I've been in Europe.
I've been to Africa. Listen, this is me speaking from experience. So listen, I'm asking you, hold on, one second. I'm taking in what you're saying. I'm asking you to take in what I'm saying based off experience, not opinion.
But I'm not going off opinions, I'm going off facts. You can even use Africa.
How can you go off, wait, hold on 1 second. How can you go off of fact of how we're viewed in other countries and you've never been?
Because when you look at other countries, there are more people that, like, there are white Hispanic that are getting on more than black people.
I have been there and experienced it.
But that's
You
not a
have
statistic.
not.
That is your view, that's not a statistic.
That's crazy.
That's an opinion, like you said, you're an exception that don't make the rule. That's what I'm saying.
Wait.
So organize for
Everybody,
everybody.
whoa. I got somebody, everybody got to listen to me. Now, I'm gonna say something, he's gonna finish his statement, and then we're gonna come to you, and then we're gonna wrap up. And that's gonna be that. Now, he's saying that you said black men are the most hated people in America. Whether you say that or not, whatever. I do think that black men are weaponized the most in America, whether they hate it or not. I'm scared for my nephew because of him being big for his age. They're gonna automatically assume he's a man and not a boy and try to hurt him because they're gonna assume that he's gonna hurt them. That's weapon. He can't help his size. He can't help being black. He can't help being a boy. Whether you hate him or not, however you feel about him, you can't be ignorant to the fact that black men, their blackness and their size or their demeanor is used against them. If he walk outside in a hoodie and a white boy walk down the street in a hoodie, it will be received totally different. The world know that.
Other than black. So
I
you
mean,
believe
personally,
that's
Go ahead.
gonna be
He's gonna
personally.
finish his point.
I'm gonna say this because I think if I go into it too deep, it'll cause too much of a ruckus. I'll say this. I'm open to like being taught. And I remember when I first came into some type of understanding, it took older brothers to teach me something. And I'm gonna say something that an older brother taught me. His name is Eric Moore, okay, from New Era. And he said that my parents, who are black Americans, when they laid down and decided to have a child, whether it was accidental or not, only one thing was certain. Before they knew they was gonna have a Democrat, before they knew they was gonna have a Muslim, before they knew they was gonna have a Christian, before they knew they were gonna have a Republican or a Democrat. Or before they knew they were gonna have a boy or a girl, someone who was straight or gay or whatever you want to categorize. One thing is for certain, they knew they was having a black child. And I think that we separate ourselves from that. And that's an important factor of knowing who we are and and what we are recognized to the world. You see what I'm saying? That's why I asked you those questions. It wasn't to stand over you and say that I know something that you don't. But when we talk about facts and opinions, when we talk about nationally, I've been to these places and had to walk these streets in these different continents and it absorbed what's thrown at me based on me being a black man. That's all I'm saying.
So,
Okay.
and then we gonna,
Yeah, I'm
we
just-
gonna stay in order.
You know, you're right. Brother is right. Here we see two opinions, but everybody's opinion matters. Son, I got a son older than you. I'm 54, you're 31. Experience beats statistics. So there's nothing wrong with learning, saying I don't know something. You understand what I'm saying, brother?
No, I don't.
No, listen to what I'm saying.
So that's gonna be the problem with me.
Listen,
Because he
listen,
doesn't
listen,
understand.
listen what I'm saying.
Because even when I'm looking at your comments,
We
these
are-
white racist people is the reason why motherfuckers really don't fuck with Republicans.
And when you got motherfuckers
That's
like
right.
How do you know they
Tim Scott,
racist?
they're
That's right.
racist as fuck.
That's
I'm
right.
reading what the fuck
That's
back
right.
there.
That's what
That's
that
right.
contradicts.
You're human.
Because we live in a
You're
You just said I'm black. You just said I'm
Yeah, but you keep talking about human. And
No.
that's the
No,
problem.
I'm saying he's human. He's
I'm
calling me a black man. I said I'm human. He said I'm
How
black.
racist these motherfucking comments is the reason why motherfuckers don't fuck with Republicans.
Understand
And
this.
that's real shit.
Right. Understand this. We live in a
So
racist.
Gina,
Ignorance.
I know that's
She's right. She's right. We live in a racist society. Racist
Live in an
country.
and
ignorant
I'm gonna tell you,
That's
right,
right.
do you believe in reparations? Because right now,
No, I don't. We got reparations already.
We are done.
We got reparations already
We
from
are
slavery. We already got reparations in the 1800s.
Hey, turn
Y'all gotta
this
do
shit
y'all
off.
research.
Let me put my shit
You
on.
see that?
Turn this motherfucking shit off.
They don't know their research, man. That's crazy.